Hey everyone, in a few videos back, or maybe a couple of videos back, I showed you this. This is a nice 80s hi-fi system, you know, tape, tuner, amp. Feel free to go and check that out. However, I found this guy. Sorry if you hear this noise in the background, it's me moving over on my chair. Now, this guy is very, very cool. This is the JVC A-X2 Amp. There are models above it in the series. There is the AX7, which appears to be like a slightly beefier model, but I'm not sure if it's got the EQ. And then you've got the AX9, which is just massively awesome with the VU meters and everything. But this is the AX2, and it's a really nice amp. According to the World Wide Web, this amp is from 1982, which is amazing. So what is it? Maths, I'm not good at maths. Nearly 30 years old? 29, 30 years old? That is absolutely amazing. And it sounds absolutely wonderful, it really does. I had a few people comment in my other video about this guy. I had a few people say, you know, 70s audio gear is the best. And I do really love 70s stuff as well. My dad's actually got a lot of 70s audio stuff, turntables and whatnot like that. But I just prefer the 80s stuff. I'm not too sure why. But anyway, here is the amp. You can see we have the power button here. And all these buttons are this sort of long kind of button, which is really cool. And when we fire it up, goes through a sort of series of clicks inside, as you can maybe hear. You can see we have JVC written up there, AX2 stereo integrated amplifier, which is really cool. Here we have the little VU meters, really nice. And then here we have our 5-band EQ, so you've got all your low end down here and your high end up here. Here's your mid. They're really nice because they click, as you can hear, they sort of click in steps with those notches, which is really nice. And if we turn up the volume, you can hear that there is practically no dust build up in these sliders, I guess you could call them, which is really cool. If we just set them up like that. Moving over, here we have the volume knob. Now the volume knob is really big and really nice. It feels lovely to turn, but unfortunately it must have had some kind of knock at one point because it moves up and down slightly, and from side to side it's just generally loose, so hopefully that'll be easy enough to tighten. Here you have your input selector. Where's it written? It's written really small up there. You have the auxiliary. I have my iPod going into the auxiliary now, and you also have tuner and phono, so you just select them like that. Moving on down then, you have your tape stuff, which is awesome. You've got tape 1 and 2, because this supports 2 cassette decks, which is really good. If we have a look in the back here, you can see I'm plugged into the auxiliary up there, and the tuner in the phono inputs are down there. But here are your record and out for both decks, which is really, really cool. It has 2 sets of speaker outputs, by the way, but unfortunately, as you can see here, one of the little screwy thingies is missing, but that's easily replaceable. So it's got different, you can hook 4 speakers up to it, and you can either have them both, all 4 speakers playing, or just the 2 of them, or just the other 2, which is really nice, because on my other amp you can either have either or. It's a push button whether you want speakers 1 or 2, and they call them A and B on here for some reason. But anyway, then you have your balance control down here, and it's got a really nice, you know, like when you hit the middle, it clicks into the middle. Not sure if you can hear that. And then you have all sorts of controls down here. Now I'm not really good at amps and stuff. I'm not very knowledgeable. I just like this stuff, and I learn as I go. I'm experimenting and whatnot. These change the sound somehow. I'll do some research, but it does sound the best when all 3 are selected. So yeah, it's really cool. This amp is 40 watts RMS per channel, which is really nice for an amp this age. 40 watts is plenty for a vintage amp. You know, it doesn't sound a lot today because, I mean, I got a 600 watt amp upstairs that I use to run all my gear. But 40 watts per RMS per channel back in the day was really cool. And some lovely vintage speakers. Again, I'm still looking for some nice vintage speakers. You know, anything from 40 to 60 RMS, anything like that. Nice floor standing, big ones would be really nice. But anyway, I might use this amp, I'm not too sure. I think well, it's obvious, it's a lot more beefy than this one at the top, and it's also a lot older. The quality of everything just feels generally a lot nicer. You know, you got these nice big switches and stuff. But anyway, I'm going to test it out. I'm not going to use those little bookshelf speakers that I used last time to test this guy, because it didn't sound too good in the video. So I've dug out these. These are actually fairly old. They're not vintage or anything, but they're made by Skytronic, I think that says. And they're 150 watt speakers. And I used to use them before I got decent speakers. I used to use them for my discos, and they do actually pump out a fair amount of sound. The quality isn't the best. I've got another one over there. The quality isn't the best, but they do pump out the sound, and they seem to work nicely with this amp. So let's give it a quick test. And again, guys, a couple of reminders. First reminder, my camera does bump down the gain, so I am turning it up loud, but you guys won't hear it very loud, unfortunately. Nobody can obtain this audio track from viewing or listening to this video. I own all rights to the music that I'm playing, and I have no intention of broadcasting this entire track. The quality's far too low to do all that stuff, blah blah blah. I'm not doing anything wrong. Okay, let's go for it. So a couple of things you can already notice, hopefully. The quality is outstanding. I've never heard these speakers sound so good. Another thing I like is the little level meters here are very accurate, and they're nice and long. They give you a good display of the audio. And also what I like is the volume knob is very responsive. You turn it a little bit and you get a little bit more volume. That's what I like about this older gear. So it's pretty damn loud. We're not even on halfway. That's loud. Very cool. This sounds really cool. I've never heard these speakers sound so good. They're not the best speakers in the world, but they are absolutely thumping down here, which is awesome. This guy is wonderful. Could you imagine what it would be like to have the AX9? It's massive, bigger brother. I don't know if the output's bigger, but wow. This amp is fantastic. I think it's got a matching tuner out there, so I'll keep an eye out for that. And wow, this size of unit is more the sort of size that is that will match my tape deck upstairs that you guys haven't seen, which I think will be very easy to fix once I pick up the cleaning kit. But this is sounding absolutely fantastic. I can't get over how good this is sounding. Everything works really well on it, and I really love it. And did I mention how much I paid for it? Don't know if I did. Paid £5 for it. This is so loud. Okay, that's enough of that. No need to film me kind of rocking out, I guess you could say. I guess I'm not cool enough to rock out. But anyway, that's been another video, everyone. Expect some more of this vintage hi-fi stuff. I'm really into it at the moment. I'm dying to find some vintage speakers, but these guys are doing quite well at the moment, so I'm not in any mega huge rush. But anyway, this is a really nice amp. I'm absolutely loving it. JVC, I've always loved JVC stuff. I think in 1982, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were near the top of manufacturers of vintage audio equipment. Up there with the pioneers and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, that's been another video. Awesome amp. I love it. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.